Hi, this is Jack Downs with your After Effects Extra Credit Pumpkin tutorial. Let me show you what we're going to make. Okay, you get the idea. So, Scary Pumpkin, this is actually using drawing tools a little bit more. And there's animation, quite a bit of animation, a little more play with keyframes. But not maybe a lot of new skills, but maybe it'll reinforce some ones you already have and give you some ideas about other things you might want to make in After Effects. So here we go, new project. And this one is going to be might as well do a save. You should always save your project and put it someplace. I'm going to put mine in here, and it's going to be Pumpkin Jack. Let's call him Jack. I don't know. And we will say new composition. Honestly, I think the instructions say something about changing this, but you don't have to. It can be stay at 30 seconds because we're going to set the work area anyway. We call it Pump Comp or something like that. So I'm just going to say okay, and here we are to begin. One thing this could teach you is using a bit more of these tools here in this area that gives us guides and stuff like that. I find it useful for this, and I've noticed other people in tutorials doing this. And by the way, this tutorial does owe a lot to one of the YouTube tutorial people, which I will put information in on YouTube. I put information down below about this, so you can go to a link and find a lot more stuff that they do. This is somewhat simplified. So this is I'm using the title and action safe choice. Really not because I care too much about the title safe area or the action safe area, which isn't that big a deal anymore, I don't think. It's because it gives me a center point and it gives me all these nice lines that I might be able to use one way or another. I could make guides, and we will later also. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to draw the left eye. And you remember what it looked like, kind of? It was that kind of a triangle. I want it to be pretty big. I think one of the problems I've had past times I've done this is it hasn't been really centered, because this should help me. And maybe sometimes it hasn't been as big enough. But we have to have room for the mouth still too. So what are we going to do? I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And because I've done this before, it's coming up already with fill chosen as solid, which you do want. Okay. And the color, I've already chosen this orangey color, which pumpkiny orangey color, which you want. Say okay to that. And the stroke, I said none, which you should do also, unless you want it for some reason, but I don't think you do. And therefore, there's no point, there's no color for it, and then no point value for it also. Okay, so what do we do? We're going to make a big triangle here. My point is going to be roughly up in this area here, I'd say. So I click down here, and then I'm going to go down to about here, maybe. We can change it afterwards if you don't like yours. And when I click down there, it's going to go like that. Yeah, that's pretty big. Maybe I'm going to close it up a little bit like that, and maybe a little, leave it like that, something like that. So that's fine. If yours isn't quite like that, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. But I'm also going to add an extra point right here. The idea is we're going to use this point to make this eye wink. I'll show you what we'll do. You can do this or not, whatever. You can always do Control-Z afterwards. I'm going to drag it down here like this to make it do a wink, and then it'll back up here like this on its own. But I'm going to do Control-Z right now, so it goes back to where it was. Okay, so we are going to animate this path. So of course we have a path here, and let's go ahead and change the name of the path. Let's do a rename and call it left eye. Good. And let's open up the path, and we'll go down to the contents and go down to the shape and go down to the path, and we get the path. Our scrubber right now is at the beginning, which is where we want it, and we will click on path. And then we will advance the scrubber about half a second, and that shows me I need to zoom in a little more. So I'm going to use this zoom area down here and zoom in so I can see 1 second. I'm going to zoom in so 1 second moves over there, just so I can just see 1 second. Okay, I'm going to move to about half a second, roughly there. That's good. And I'm going to, my path is already animated, so I'm going to make this guy wink. I'm going to bring it down to about there, but not all the way. So I'm going to go try to do this, and look, oh no, something happened. Control Z. I wanted to show you that. My path now is not really selected, so I want to click off, click back on the eye, click back on the path. Now I should be able to click on that point, and I can't. Oops, hold on, let me get that again. Sorry, you should be able to click off, then click on the shape or the whole contents, whatever. When you see these dots around it, you know you are correct. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this point here and wink it down. And leave it there. Good, I made a keyframe. Now I'd like to return it back to its original position at about 1 second. Move my scrubber to 1 second. Okay. Yeah, 1 second's there. But that'll be hard to do. So why don't I just grab this keyframe, the first one, and copy it with a Control C, and then I will make sure this is in the right place. I like to move it before I do this, and then do Control V. So I essentially have duplicated that keyframe, which means it's open again properly, and just where it was originally. So now let's go ahead and look what it looks like. If I previewed it, it would go like this. Wink. Now, that wink is a little slow, and it's not very smooth or that natural. So we can fix both those things. So I'm not sure that the order I did these things in the tutorial on paper, but you'll get the idea. We're going to first, I guess we will first easy ease them, which you remember how to do, right? We'll select all these like that, and F9 will do it. And then we will use the graph editor. Now, I noticed in class people were saying it didn't look like this. It looked instead like edit value graph. It looked like, yeah, let's see what happens now. Looked like, select these again. I'm not getting the value graph. Anyway, if you switch to this, you would like it to be on the edit speed graph, which is what we have here. So you may have to click off, then go back separately to this and change it, and then change it again. It does make a difference. Just the easy ease makes a difference. But so with this. I don't want my pen tool, by the way. See the pen tool? That's a problem. I want my regular selection tool. I can click on this point here. I get these little handles. I can yank this out. And I can make the thing go really slow, then fast and slow. And that in general. Now there's other ways. Some people would make other changes to this. Maybe push all the action to one side or the other. You can really get into this area and figure these things out so much more. But I don't care to. Just do an F9 and easy ease would probably be fine too. How does this, and also, how are we going to make this go faster? Well, of course, we're going to change the distance between them. But we could do that just by manually moving them, but why don't we select them all and then hold down the Alt key and grab this one and push them, and you'll see they will all move together. Now, there's only 3 of them here, but if you had a whole bunch of keyframes you want to move together, and I'll keep them proportional, that would be, but make the space more or less, that would be a way to do it. Okay, let's preview it again. And click off so we don't have those dots there anymore. Here we go. Okay, that's maybe a little different. I think it's a little smoother. It's a little faster anyway. Okay, let's do the right eye. So we will minimize this layer, select the left eye, do Control D for duplicate. I've got left eye 2. No, that's not going to be left eye 2. That's going to be right eye. Right click, rename, right eye. All right, click off, select it, right click, transform. Here's something we've done before. We have lots of transform choices. And we're going to flip horizontal. Boom. Hey, we've got a right eye. Now the problem though is that both these eyes are now too far apart. It was helpful to make it over here where I could get close to that point earlier, but so I'm just going to use my arrow keys on the keyboard. With that one selected, I'm going to move it in a little ways, and then I'm going to go back, and I could try to click on this one. That would work fine. I could also click down here, and I've selected it down here. I'm going to use my right arrow here a little bit now, and I'm looking at that center point, and I don't know. What do you think? Maybe this one a little more. I shouldn't have to worry about the up-down because by that transform, it should be exactly the same up-down position. Okay, let's say that's good enough. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to also add another blink. So this uses a second blink, in other words. So we're going to use the U key. Now we could just use it right now and it would go get all the keyframes. The U key gets keyframes. And you could go deep down here and find them. But what I would do instead is I would select, first we have to do them separately anyway. Select one eye, doesn't matter which one. Hit the U key, my keyframes pop out. Select the keyframes, copy, Control C. And then I want you to move the scrubber down to about 2 seconds, which is about there. And Control V. I've duplicated a set of keyframes. That's all I did. Do the same thing here. U key, select keyframes, copy. I like to reposition my cursor. Control V. Boom. And let's go ahead and run that. Why not? Preview it. Back to beginning and play. Blink. Blink. All right. The blinks are supposed to be closer together, but it's okay with me. Let's add a mouth. Why not? We are make sure everything's deselected, and we can also minimize these guys now too if we wish. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to go grab our pen tool, which will make a new layer, of course. This stuff can all stay the same. I'm going to make a nose. I'm going to make it right in here, just a triangle nose. I'll start like right about there, I guess. And then I'll just make it not too big. Maybe there, and then maybe, oh, I can hold the shift key here. When I'm going across, I want this line to be straight across. So if I get roughly over here where I want to be, and hit this with the shift key down, it will make a straight line, and then click there again to finish it up. And, you know, I did okay, but I suppose I could drag this guy out a little more. Like that, maybe. Whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. Good enough. And yes, of course, I could call that nose. And what else? Let's add a mouth. So I'm actually going to take a quick pause here and then come to the mouth. Okay, so here we go with the mouth. We need some more direction here. These lines are not, we need more than that. So I'm going to go and put the rulers on. Control R would do it also. I want to make a rule at the edge of that eye and then the edge of the other eye, which is where our mouth is going to go to. And our mouth is going to come up to just below the end of the nose, like something like that. I guess we don't need these other ones here anymore, so I can tell those to go away, the title safe action. Now one of the problems is, if I try to draw something close to one of these rules, my cursor sticks to it and thinks I want to move a rule. What can I do about that? Well, I could go to View and lock the guides. By the way, this is where you can also change the snap to guides. If you're doing stuff and you don't want your cursor to be grabbed by the guide, this isn't so much a grab thing, it's just I want the guide to be stable and not be movable. So I'm going to click Lock Guides. So now I go over there and I can draw at that point if I wish, and that's what I want to do. Again, I'm going to do the fill, and these choices up here are unchanged. Let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to click on here, then I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to draw with this click held down. I'm going to pull out to get the long handles on this, and I'm going to open up the mouth. I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to draw out again handle and bring it up. In both cases, though, when I get the top handle up, I'm going to hold down the Alt key and move the handle in again. And the same thing over here, move the handle in again. Honestly, I'm not that good at this. And this may be a little tricky, and this may be the kind of thing you have to do. Realize it didn't work that well. Control Z and try it again. Control Z and try it again. But let me show you what I'll try to do. Maybe you'll do it right on the first time this time. Who knows? Click down there. Good. I'm going to click down here and hold down and pull out. Okay, and open up that mouth, a sizable amount, like that or so. Now I still got my mouse button down. Hold down the Alt key. I'm going to bring this handle in. I only want the lower handle. We're probably fine right here just with that. But just to have another handle, I'm going to click here, and bring the handle around like that kind of. Again, bring it out a little bit. My mouth always gets a little bit wacky here. Something like that. It's kind of an okay mouth, I guess. I'm going to hold down the Alt key again and bring this handle in like that, roughly. Whatever. Okay, good. Honestly, I'd like to close that mouth up a little more. So I'm going to close it up a little bit with this handle. I think most of my work on this mouth is going to be with this handle right here anyway. Okay, so I got a mouth that's kind of closed up. Yeah, it's maybe not the best mouth. Now I could try it a few more times and get a little better, but it's okay. All right, so we started the mouth. All right, good. And we will call this mouth, right? Sure. And you could do more work on this mouth. And in fact, if you want to change any of the things in here, please do. So click off. And now what are we going to do? We want to move the scrubber to about 3 seconds. Back here, 3 seconds. And we're going to go into the mouth. Let's go into the mouth, right? And we're going to activate the path. Or we're going to animate the path again. Contents, shape, path, path. And this will be our starting position like this. Now the mouth is going to get bigger, right? Okay, good. So click on path. Good, I made a keyframe, that's nice. Now I'll move a second along here. Good, 4 seconds. And then I'm going to click off. All right. I'm going to click on the layer. I still have the pen tool, yep. I'm going to click on this guy. I can see my path again. And by the way, if this didn't work, then just click off, deselect, select again with the pen tool still, try again. Sometimes you have to deselect and select a couple of times. Now I'm going to open up this mouth a lot, like that. Okay, he looks happy. All right, and I will have made a keyframe. So the opening of the mouth, I could easy ease these. Again, why not? And I'm just going to easy ease them like with an F9. You can see they've changed. They are easy eased. And let's preview this. Sure, why not? Blink, blink, and open. Okay, good. All right, now we're going to finish up the mouth. So we want to apply an effect to this mouth. A few ways we can do this. First of all, we have to find the effects and presets, and here they are over here. I'm going to click on this, and I'm probably going to get a long wait. I've noticed this. It really waits for quite a while. This wheel will spin. Is it still spinning? There, finally came back. Now there are a lot of effects I could apply, and frankly, some of the glow ones would be really interesting for this. Some of the blur ones would be really interesting for this. Maybe you could go through and try some others if you want. I'm going to use Wave Warp. Is that what I'm going to use? Wave Warp, yes, that's what I want. And instead of going down and looking through it everywhere, I'm just going to search for it. Wave. Okay, good. There it is, Wave Warp. Distort Wave Warp. Good. How am I going to apply this to this? Well, I could drag and drop it here. I believe I could drag and drop it here. I actually right now have the Effect Controls panel available. You may not. If you don't, with the mouth selected, as it is now, you would go to Window and Effects, not Effects and Presets. Effect Control Mouth would be a choice there. You could click on that. You don't really have to. I believe it will just appear if you dragged and dropped it on here. So you can drag and drop it on there. Or if I have this window open, I can just drag and drop it over here, and I can see that it's going to affect the mouth, because the mouth is what's selected there. Either way, get it on there. All right. So honestly, you could do a lot of things here. I'm just going to do a couple of things, and you could follow me or not. You could leave this wavy if you wish to start with, and then just make it wavier. I'm going to make it go to essentially like kind of like a 0 position, and then I'm just going to animate the wave height. So what are we going to do? I'm going to change the type of wave to a triangle. Okay, so it's sharper. And I'm going to change, first of all, I'm going to put my cursor back to where the mouth just starts to open up. So that's back here, right? Yeah, that's at 3 seconds. Okay, I'm going to make these things apply back here. Well, the animation part anyway. I'm going to change my wave height to 0. Just put a 0 in there. I could use a slider. And the wave speed to 0. You could put other numbers in there if you want. You could animate wave speed too. Try that if you want. But we're just going to animate the wave height. So I'm going to set a keyframe for wave height by my cursor is in the right place at 3 seconds. Mouth is closed. Click on the wave height. And then I'm going to slide up to where the mouth is fully open at 4 seconds. Good. And I'm going to change the wave height to, and my instructions to say 40. I think 50 would be fine, or 60 or something even too. Let's see what the different numbers will do. I'm actually going to use the, I'll just put the number in, I guess. Let's try 50. That's a lot of nice jaggies on that. I think that's probably better than 40, and maybe 60 would be good too. Yes, my jaggies have gone into the nose a little bit, but I don't really care. So this mouth will open up and get all jaggy like that and scary. Okay, so now we can preview this if we want. We could close this guy up and click in here. So this was making keyframes, but ones we didn't actually see appear because we just used the effects control panel to make them. And you may have noticed that effects control is not unlike effects control we have in Premiere too, right? I can open up preview again, go back to the beginning, and now we go blink, blink. Okay, good. All right, and the last thing would be, by the way, we should probably close our work area up to about, I don't know, I think it's going to be like 7 seconds or something. It's going to be way in here anyway. So there's my work area, right? Work area end. I'm going to grab that and yank it way down. And I'm going to scroll down here. And we're going to say, for now, I'll leave it at 12 seconds. I don't think we want that much, actually. I think it's going to be about 7 seconds. So let's close it to 7. 7 seconds is all we're going to want. Okay, good. And here we are back here again. We're at the very beginning again. Okay, good. All right, so we minimize all layers. We deselect. We're going to use the anchor point tool. So this is the anchor point tool. And if we click on it, oh no, not first, no, first we're going to pre-compose. We're going to select all these layers and we're going to pre-compose them. Right click, pre-compose will do it. You would find it under the composition window. Sometimes I've noticed that depending on how you selected these, if I thought something else was selected, maybe this wouldn't be available, then just click off and do a reselect again. Pre-compose, and what will we call this? We can call it pumpkin pre-comp or something, call it whatever you want. Say OK. So that essentially grouped our layers. We want to do something for the entire thing now. So we will select it. It is selected already. I'll make sure it's selected. And I want to put my cursor at about the 4-second mark. In other words, where the mouth has opened up. And I'm going to set my anchor point tool. It's also called the pan behind tool, and I'm not really sure why. I'm going to grab that anchor point and yank it down to right the center of the mouth. Because we're going to make this thing come straight at us. The mouth of it comes straight at us. Okay, good. So that's set. Now I'm going to move up another second in the time frame to 5 seconds. Good. Yeah, roughly. Okay. And I want to change the scale of this. So we're going to make this come at us, get bigger. Transform. So it opened up the pre-comp. I'm going to go to scale. I'm going to animate scale. Actually, yeah, 5 seconds. So 4 seconds is where we started. And then at 5 seconds, we want this. So we better start back here. At 4 seconds, we're going to start the animation of the scale. And at 5 seconds, we are going to increase the scale dramatically. I'm going to use these slider guys, the slider here. These guys are linked together, so either one will be fine. I'm just going to go ooh, up, 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 up to giant. And I can easy ease these. Why not? F9. Okay. And that should do it for this, except we have to add our sound, but we'll preview this one more time for now. Back to the beginning. Blink, blink, scary, and straight at us. Okay, good, and then it ends at 7 seconds. Okay, and I've got some sound to put in here. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but there is on Moodle a file to download. It is the Pumpkin soundtrack, and we will just throw that on here. So let me go get it. So you would download it if you haven't already. It's called Pumpkin Soundtrack. I can just drop it in here. Whoops. Sorry, project window. I could have clicked on project first, but it showed up in project. Here it is. Pumpkin. No, it didn't show up. I should have first clicked on project. That's okay. I'll do it now again. Do it again. Pumpkin Soundtrack becomes just a file that is available here. There it is. And I can just drag and drop it down on the timeline, I guess, down here someplace. I want to make sure it's at the beginning. It's taking a minute to find itself here. Where are we? Oops, regular, that's what, regular tool. Okay, I want to put it at the beginning. Roughly the beginning, good, like that. And I'm going to, my work area is still set here. I won't worry about the fact that it goes longer than it, doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and, with the sound now, turn my sound up. Good. All right, I like that. Yeah, you could close the sound, you could fade out the sound, fade in the sound, stuff like that. I think you do that, feel free to. So save your work, and now you're going to do the export. Sorry, I was briefly cut off there. So you are all done, and you want to export it, but this time you don't want to export to Giant AVI. Maybe you want to go right to an MP4. Actually takes another program, but it's all done here together. So we're going to go File, Export, Add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. That's going to open up Adobe Media Encoder, which is going to take a moment to happen. And okay, here it comes. I'm going to pause here for a moment while this opens, then restart. Okay, so this is what the program looks like when it opens, and you might think, what am I supposed to do? I don't see my thing anywhere. But a long time after, and you got to wait and be patient, it will pop in, as mine just popped in here. Although I don't know what your settings will start out as. I think you may have to choose, it may be on something else, who knows what, H.264, which is the MP4 choice. So you have to choose that. I wouldn't worry about this choice. Match source, high bit rate is fine. Then this has to do with the location and the name. So mine's going to the proper place. Is it actually? No, it's not actually. I want to put it in this folder here. And I'm not, it's going to be named the name of the composition, but I'm going to make it, take it Pumpkin Final. Just Pumpkin Final, I'll call it that. So I'm going to change the name and location here, and perhaps location. And then what do I do now? It says it's ready. Here's the tiny green button that you have to push to make it go. And there it goes. Something's happening. I don't really know what's happening, but something's happening. And it won't take very long, and it will tell you that it's done. And it's thinking, and actually I can see it. What it's showing me what it's got there, right? And that looks like I would expect. And it's almost done. Of course, then you go and look at the file and preview it, make sure you got what you wanted. But you should have a nice MP4 there.